Hi, this is our final episode of Ruby's Garden Block of the Month from Fawns and Porter with the beautiful Paintbrush Studio fabrics, 1930s fabrics. We are talking today final assembly, and I know you're wondering, how am I going to get those scallops in there? I will show you, but don't panic yet. Okay, this is a big quilt. Let's just pause a minute. You should be so thrilled with yourself. Look at how much you have done, how much you have learned and discovered and all this. This is something to be admired. We are in the home stretch and you have done a great job. Okay, so we're going to start putting everything together. And it's going to be a little bit different probably than what you're used to, but that's all right. We're going to roll with it. You can see I have the center, right? Just start in the center. Then we're going to take these inner applique borders and push them in. And we're going to use the shorter ones first, right? That makes sense. We're going to push in the shorter ones, and then we'll push in the outside ones. And you notice, like I mentioned when I was teaching back how to do this border, that you have to leave that little stem up until they're all together. Well, there it is, all together, so you would tuck that in and finish that applique at that point. All right, next, we're going to take these sides here, and we're going to put them in a group of 3, and those will go on right there. And we're going to do the same thing with these fellas right here. Oh, they're hard to grab all at once. There we go. And remember too, as you're putting it together, be sure to mix and match the colors. Try to avoid putting the exact same color next to the exact same place somewhere else, so it's all kind of exciting and random like that. Okay, then we're going to come over to the sides here, and we're going to make a row of 5. And we're going to push all those in there together. See? When you sew it, everything will push in much more nicely than I can do it here. And then we push in the other side that we have assembled. Pretty simple. All right. We talked about measuring the borders to get the same length. Your border, when you put it together, is not going to look like this. It's going to be flat and it's going to be longer. Leave it that way for right now, okay? So when we put these together, you want to leave them longer for the time being, all right? Because they're going to have to assemble to the other parts. So then we bring in our string piece borders. And again, those are going to be longer. Don't trim them yet. We want to wait until we've put this all together. Bring in our string piece borders. Weren't those fun, by the way? I think that's part of my favorite part, learning the string piecing. No, I liked a lot of it. Never mind. There's a lot of parts I liked. And then we're going to bring in our corners that we appliqued. Now, what you want to do at this point is trim off these edges so they're even with the applique block. That's how you know. And see, that's why I said leave extra over, leave extra of both of them, so don't trim it ahead of time. You want to leave that extra bit so you can cut it off and it'll be just right. Okay, so now we put the outer borders, top and bottom here, and there, and there. Voila! Oh, wait, there's no scallops. Don't worry, I didn't forget. We're going to do the scallops. Let me move this off to the side, and I'll show you how to make the scallops happen. But this is how to put the main top of the quilt together. All right, so let me move this out, and I'll pull over the other things. Hold on. All right, as promised, scalloped edges. Before we jump totally into that, because what you need to do before you scallop your edges is you need to quilt it. So let's talk just a little bit about quilting. I'm kind of proud with myself because I played with my free motion on my machine last night, and this is what I've got. It's not great. I'm not, but I'm excited that I did it and I tried it. And I would encourage you to try those kinds of things that you might be a little hesitant to do. Just give it a whirl, see how it goes. Each time you try it, you're going to get better and better at it. This was just kind of a loopy, meandering echo. That's what I call it now. That's my thing. Okay, you could also, when you quilt it, you could also do very traditional grid style quilting, which would have been very common in the 1930s, or you can just do echoes, or you could do really lovely feathers and motifs and all kinds of stuff all around. Just let your imagination go wild. I mean, this, remember, I said at the beginning, this could be your magnum opus. This could be a wonderful thing. So if you want to spend a lot of time, put a lot of details in all the different corners with your quilting, do it. Go for it. Okay, so here we have the quilting done. The quilt is all cut out. I'm ready to go. Now you have your templates that you got. You have your paper templates. And we're going to make enough copies to go around the edge to do what we need to do. And I have taped them together. You can see I've taped in several locations. And I'm going to lay it on here. I'm lining up my corner on my corner edge. That's very sensible. And then I pull this out here. Normally your quilt, of course, would go a lot longer. But if you are slightly the wrong size, if something is just a little bit off, on these dotted lines, you can take a scissors and cut that apart and adjust it there. You can move it in a skosh or out just a tiny bit if you need to make everything fit evenly, because that's the key for getting nice scalloped edges. It needs to be nice and even. Okay, you don't want like a half a scallop in one place and taking up the slack. And you don't want to try to fit it, match it up in these intersections, because if you push those together or pull them apart, that will change the curve too much. Here you can still maneuver it and there's still room to work and keep a decent curve. So here I have it, I've lined it up on my border and right there on the edge, on my corner. And then what I'm going to do, I'm taking my, just a water erase pen, and then I can just draw along here, around the curve. And you say, okay, closer. I'm kind of getting the idea, but it's a pretty good trick. So you would draw all along there, all the way around on your quilt. Now, here's where it gets awesome. You take your binding, right? And we're going to sew it. We're going to attach it just the way you normally attach binding to the front, but we're going to attach it on the curve, on that line that we drew. So you just sew it into place, and notice how it curves so nicely to go around those, and it'll curve and fold over and tuck really nicely on the back side. You just keep working your way all the way around your quilt. Then, once you have your binding sewn on completely onto the top, you take your scissors and just cut off on that edge. Just trim it the way you might hand trim your quilt even before you put the binding on. You're just going to trim that. That will give you all those scallops, all those swirls that you've been wanting to finish off the quilt with. All right, so that's it. We have been on a wonderful journey together. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope that you have learned a lot, that you've been entertained, and that you've been encouraged to try new things and to come out with a great finished product that you are proud of. Again, my name is Jenny K. Parks. If you want to know more about me, you can check me out on my website, jennykquilts.com, and I'll see you another time. This lesson of Ruby's Garden Block of the Month is brought to you by Paintbrush Studios, fabrics for your masterpiece.